We've got a mill and a lathe in shop as well, along with the plasma cutters and welders and that. And the biggest reason for that is, you know, the majority of the parts anymore are made offshore. And I'm sorry, but they just don't fit these old cars right. And so it takes modification on them.
Yeah.
And so that's why the mill and the lathe. And with the knowledge of how to use that, then we're able to accomplish getting them put onto the car. But,
probably a lot of late nights working and doing that type of thing.
Pretty much the late nights are brainstorming, figuring out how I'm going to do this or how I'm going to do that. Or at the end of the day, usually my buddies I've got a couple friends that come by and help out, and that we'll sit and have a soda or something like that and kind of brainstorm how we're going to do this or that, or just something will pop into our heads. Or I mean, I've had things come to me standing in the shower.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is how I'm going to do it. Or if Mary and I are making a road trip somewhere, there's not a lot of conversation, you know. And she don't sing to herself, so we have to turn the radio on, because I'm thinking. Yeah, like I said, we come down where our place is open, you know, to pretty much anybody. We're right here on the road to the Grand Canyon, so we'll do 6-8 shop tours a week with the foreigners, and they just love it. And we've got an event that we're putting on November 2nd. We've got a car show here. Last year when we did it, we had 65 entries. That was our first year, and we just put it together in like a 2-month time frame, and had an absolute blast. We served, you know, food and all that stuff. We had coverage from a Truckin' Magazine. We ended up with a full-page article in Truckin' Magazine. We've got Truckin' Magazine. We've got other magazines that are going to be here for the event. We've got a TV station out of Lake Havasu that wants to come down and do a full half-hour program on our event. It's, you know, the shop is, you know, it's kind of known around the world to, you know, just certain people in that. People come in, they see the trucks I've built, and that I've got a red 37 Hudson Terraplane that people have seen, you know, it's just been in magazines around the world. And we had a black one we built before that is still used a lot with like race deck flooring, Hedman headers, stuff like that. So it's really kind of neat when the people walk in the shop and they see the banner on the wall, or they see the pictures of the cars, and they go, "Man, I've seen that truck," you know, or they remember the name, you know. But it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now do you have let's get that date one more time. We're doing this in August of 2010. What's the date and time of that event in November?
Yeah, the event is November 7th, and it goes from 8 to 5. And with that, we're telling people if they want to bring their RV and come out and dry camp with us, hey, come on down. We're going to have the shop opened up. We do a shop tour where you can go walk through the whole facility. We do some demonstrations so people can see how some of the stuff is done. And it's one of those, just come out, free parking, stuff like that. Come hang out with us. If a person wants to find out anything about it, they can contact us at dan@desertconcepts.com, or they can call us at 928-767-3171, and we'll be more than happy to give them information on it. We have just an absolute ball this year. If everybody shows up that's talking, I'm seeing 100 to 150 cars. Yeah, it's a work of love, and like I said, it's one of those that's like. We take, when the customers, they can't be here as we're building them, so we take pictures and build up as we're building the cars. And a lot of times you'll notice, you'll see Mary in there just sanding away, you know, on door jams, or we'll put the bodies on a rotisserie. I've got pictures when we built our red Terraplane. The truck's sitting on its side on a rotisserie, and Mary's inside sanding with little, in between the gauges, or at lunchtime she'll be scrambling through the kitchen drawers trying to find little bitty things to use for sanding.
And it comes to the little, the fins and the little louvers and that on the cars, you know, like on your engine panels and that. It takes just a little crafty piece to get in there, because if you don't have a flat, it's not going to lay flat underneath the paint. So it's detail work. We love it. She's found
the Tupperware orange peeler is one of her favorite friends for getting into them corners.
It's good, buddy.
Well, now you mentioned that the owners, you know, you try to fit the personality of the owner with the vehicle and theming the vehicles. Let's talk about that a little more.
Right.
It's a lot of it. Just kind of, I don't know. It's just something that kind of comes to your head. you get a feel for what they want. When we go to build a car, what I try to do, I try to build the car on paper beforehand. So, you know, we have an idea where we're going. And with that, they have an idea what kind of, you know, outlay they're looking. I can usually bid one within about 25%. You're going to change your mind, prices are going to change, you know, stuff like that. But you just got to get the feel, and it's just, you know, it's like with this little white truck here, it's what we call a resto rod, where it looks back original, like it was originally, but it's just been updated. And then you get into, like with our red truck, it's what I would, you know, call kind of the radical rod, where we just kind of wanted to take it off the planet. Just something totally different than anybody's ever seen. And it's been that way. This 57 or 55 Nomad behind me here it's kind of a resto rod. He's trying to keep it look pretty much original, but then not 100%. He's trying to, you know, bring some of the new stuff. This car has an LS6 Chevy engine in it, but it just works out. You got to figure out the personality is like, okay, what's the theme of the car? What's the car look like? What wheel does the car need? What era is that car supposed to, you know, kind of represent? You know, it's like this truck here. When we first started with it, I told Tim and Donna it needs a Krager, and that says Krager. It just fits that theme. But then we get into stuff like with the Studebaker that we're building. You know, we're looking for the idea behind that is a European look, because with the way that I did the chop and the section from the back end, the car looks like my thought there was like a 53 Mercedes, or 54. Now we're still working, trying to find the rim that's going to be just the right flavor, the right touch. It's like, you know, with our red truck, you know, we named it Timeless. We try to find something a wheel that'll kind of fit with that theme. And then with that, you have to tie the steering wheel in too.
Yeah.
Well, it's like with the Terraplane. See, when we designed the Terraplane, we first found the truck. Well, let me back up a minute. The truck prior to this red truck was a black 37 Hudson. I named it Mantis. Because when I first saw it, all I could see was the nose of this thing sticking out of the weeds. And with the way that the grill is, it kind of reminded me of, you know, the head on like a praying mantis, then the eyeballs was the headlights, and then the fenders was kind of like the mandibles of the claws. So with that, we kept the truck black with kind of a semi-blue pearl ghost flame. And then the tail lights and the headlights were all painted over, so they were stealthy. I'm sorry, headlights and gauges. So you couldn't even see them until they come on. With this truck here, we've got a picture of when we picked it up in Ely, Nevada. We pulled it out of the snowbank. So our thought there was, okay, you know, we pulled the old man at 70-something years old out of the snowbank. It's time to get his butt back to work. So he's coming out of that time capsule. So with that, we made the running boards on the truck kind of hourglass shaped to go with the time idea. Then the headlights, my thought with that was, it's kind of like the landing lights on an airplane, where they're kind of built in to the wing. Then the turn signals and tail lights, to me that's like the wingtip lights on an airplane. Those are all hand built. Then on the fenders, I made them, they've got kind of a pod type look, so it's kind of like your Star Wars. And then when you look at the gauges, the way I just set that up, it'd be like a cockpit in an airplane. You know, with the doors open, people tell me it kind of reminds them of a Cessna. And then with the swoopy lines on the truck, and then to top it off, it is a Terraplane, which back in '32, Amelia Earhart, Charles Lindbergh, and some of the aviators at the time got with Hudson to design a car that was more aerodynamic. And that's where they came up with Terraplane. Terraplane is Latin for ground plane. And this is all documented. It's not, you know, a bunch of BS. It's actually documented in the history books. And Terraplane was only made from 32 through 38. It started out as the Essex Terraplane. And Amelia Earhart actually christened the first Terraplane off the assembly line.
My goodness. Wow.
So it's just a real rare, the 37, it's a one year only grill, and it just has a real swoopy look. It's a real Art Deco type of look. It's fun to watch people because they'll stand back and you see them take their hands and they'll kind of show the lines of the truck, you know, drawn out in the air with their hands. And it's just, and that was what I thought, you know, trying to get just really, just a swoopy.